Hi, I'm Rick Eldridge, supervising producer for Legend of the Candy Cane. This is a show that became possible through a book presented by Zonderkidz, a best-selling book, 10 to 15-minute read, a beautiful tabletop, beautiful illustration. Our job was to take this book, this beautiful story, and to turn it into a script. We hired Chris Auer, a writer, to come in and create the layering of a one-hour television or video special. And in doing that, we enhanced the character design of the individuals, took them deeper in their personality, created a whole subset of characters, animal characters, and subset stories for a love story, some comedy, and all the elements that needed to take place in order to make this story what it was.
Hi, I'm Chris Delaney, director of The Legend of the Candy Cane. One of the great things about animation is how pure of an art form it is. You begin with a blank sheet of paper, and you have to create a whole new world that's probably never been seen before. And in this case, the first step of that is to create what we call layouts, which are actually design sketches of the main scenics within the show. And every one of those main scenics depicts one set or one particular location within the film. Once those scenics and sketches are completed, they're then painted, and we call that stage background painting, or backgrounds. And as you can see, the backgrounds are very, very beautiful and add a whole dimension and a personality and a sort of a mood as well to the picture. We see a livery stable where all of the animal characters were centered. We see a candy shop with all of the various candies and decorations for Christmas. And you can see the beauty of how these sketches come to life when they're finally painted. Once we've completed the designs for the sets and the backgrounds, we have to design a whole set of characters. And in the case of the candy cane, there were both animal and human characters. Again, you can see the dramatic difference between a character sketch in black and white and then when it finally comes into color. The sort of key challenge, again, with character design is to come up with a sketch that matches the personality of the character and then add to that the color that will also greatly enhance the personality of that character as well. There's a variety of choices you can make. You could have a dark horse or a light horse. Each character has its own sort of personality, and we have to find colors that match that. There were several characters in Legend of the Candy Cane. Every one of them had a unique personality, and in this case we see Maureen, sort of an elderly character who's been shut in her home for many years and is not really a happy character, so again we chose colors that were suitable for that kind of personality. Here we see a young girl by the name of Lucy, who's one of the central characters in the show. Again, a very pretty girl, and we see her in different costumes as well. Sometimes she's got a coat on, and other times just an apron. So again, part of the challenge is to come up with a variety of different costumes for those characters as well, depending on what the story calls for. Jane is a young woman in her 20s that is sort of going nowhere in a very small town and kind of looking for a life for herself. We did a lot of study on the type of dress that women were wearing at that time of the century, as well as the hairstyles and the glasses and all the different details that go into a personality and a character. Matt is a young boy who comes with the lead character, John Sonneman, into the town. He's been orphaned by circumstance, and so again, we had to design him. And you'll notice that sometimes they have coats on or sometimes just a shirt. Again, we have to do a series of props and different models for the characters depending on what they're wearing that particular moment in the show. John Sonneman is the central character of the film, and he's sort of an enigmatic, very special, very unusual person who comes into this town and brings the people together around this candy store that he opens to try to bring people together.
Once we've created the characters and the backgrounds and all of the things that go into that, then a script is developed into what's called a storyboard. These are volumes of pages of scene-by-scene look at how the motion's going to happen, how movement is going to take place, how the interaction of the characters will take place. Once the storyboards are complete, then we begin the casting process, which we want to find characters who can portray the personality we've already given in animation. And it's a very difficult task because these actors come into the studio and have to, before any animation is written, literally create the personality and the character and the action that's going to take place on the screen. This is all then synced in animation as we go further.
The next step
people
after
here
we've got the
know.
actors' voices down is to
can
create
be
what we call a
friendly.
Leica reel. And what that is the
Thank you for the
storyboard shot onto film
thanks.
and timed out to the voices
I'll
that
let
the
you and
actors
your
have
father get
provided.
back to work.
This gives us the first sense of the timing of the show and the pacing of it and whether it's working or not. And we can do a little bit of a refinement before we actually
Oh, he's
begin the
finding me?
animation.
Oh, I'm
And
so
it gives a
sorry.
real nice
And
sense
here
of the
I-
pacing and the sense of the show
Forgive
and,
me.
and also
You
its
don't have to
entertainment
feel
value.
I like
Finally,
a laugh
the
as
animation
much as
is
anyone else.
in, and we see the dialogue that's cut into the show in sync. And at that point, we begin a sound design and music process because there's absolutely nothing on an animation when it comes to us. I'll be quiet for a second, and you can hear what does take place. Rather stark without the music and sound design. We'll see the same scene again here as we close out this particular portion of our program. And you'll see the music and sound design and how it greatly enhances the overall value of the animation.
Oh, you're right. It is good to laugh.
I like a laugh as much as anyone else.
Well, then, if he wants to laugh, let's laugh.
Oh, that looked like it hurt, huh?
You're right. It is good to laugh.